We're here in a little warehouse on an industrial estate outside of London filming this, and yet we're able to bring the world of Tripoli to the set. All of this was designed by Jamie Lapsley, our brilliant production designer.
The project was a chance, in a way, for for me as a designer to design a whole city. And using Unreal, I was able to realise that in a way that I could never do normally. So what you see here is that they've actually put another line of bricks in. So you've maybe got a bit of exposed stone here, and then the
At Dimension, we have a team of artists that create really realistic environment props, anything you might need to present reality on an LED wall. And we had meetings where we would show the scene, and we'd go through everything from lighting to materials to object placement.
This was lots of research on essentially like Russian language search engines for people's holiday photos and videos, and little blogs and little conversations of, experiences of the world of Tripoli itself. And so we stumbled across a certain swap market, I think it's called, which is basically just a furniture exchange in the bottom southwest corner of the old town in Tripoli.
I feel like there's a bit more mottled, dirty look to this, so I might just add a little bit more.
I'm working with someone like Craig, who comes from film visual effects, who understands this, was essential. Unreal is best to think of it as an environment rather than a piece of software, and he knew his way around the environment.
The goal was to try and achieve the essence of the real place, because it's based on a real place in Tripoli, a real street section. So we've been really scrutinising each prop, all the lighting, the kind of atmospherics and everything to try and really match what it feels like to be in Tripoli.
So one of the really cool things which I discovered whilst I was working on this project in prep when we were designing the world is that, of course, we were designing the Tripoli component inside the Unreal Engine. It's a virtual world. And we could enter into that virtual world by putting on a VR headset, and you could walk around. So I could walk around that digital set. And I quickly realised that I could actually shoot out there. That was a realisation that came to me when I was exploring it in VR.
وين موبايلي؟ ما نعرف. كان عندك المرة الماضية. لا، نعم كان عندك.
I was able to put up a virtual movie camera, which essentially is an iPad. It's on a little shoulder mount, and I was able to walk around the room, and I'd look into the viewfinder on the iPad, and it would show me this world. And then I could share that with my cinematographer, with Ollie Downey.
That was amazing. Being able to put on a headset and explore a set that you haven't set foot on. You can sit in the office and you can see in prep a big set build, and it looks beautiful, and you've got the little figures, but until you stood in it, it's very difficult to visualise issues you may run into. With the headset and that VR recce ability, then you really can get to the crux of that very comprehensively.
A fantastic bonus from this was that I could save frames from all of these setups, and then I would use that to produce digital storyboards for the entire film over a period of about 3 weeks. And on a technical level, those are very, very accurate boards.
A sort of third member of, the triangle became a guy called Craig, who's part of the virtual art department, who built the world, and who also kind of acts as a virtual gaffer, I suppose. On a normal job, you might say, you're a gaffer, I want a sky panel up there for a bit of backlight. Craig can actually dial that in.
The main screen behind us will be showing the environment, and then we have side panels and the ceiling panel to represent more of the scene wrapping around the characters.
We can place anywhere on a sort of either a circle or a beam of light, and so we can pick and choose where that goes, and we can move it around on a bit of backlight or side light or whatever. We can do that from the LED screen as well as from our conventional lighting.
When we come to actually filming, there's a number of things we have to do to get the real set to match the virtual set. Firstly, obviously, the actual texture of the ground, for instance, has to blend seamlessly into the texture of the digital ground. And once you've got that, it's very hard to see where reality ends and virtual reality begins, basically.
We sort of treated it as though we'd built this set in this street in Tripoli. And so you let the background overexpose, and you treat it as a view from a window, really, that you have control over.
Every time the camera's turned on and we move it, I'm kind of blown away by how really good it looks, because as soon as that camera moves, you just suddenly, the place comes alive.
When you look at it with like a naked eye, it looks like it doesn't look like it would look real on camera. Then you look at it on the monitor and it looks really real. Yeah, it's really cool how they do that.
I thought, given it was so new and it had not been, you know, used a huge amount before, I thought it would affect the pace of set a lot more. I know that behind the scenes they've been constantly rejigging things to make it work, but from the actor's perspective it seemed pretty seamless, but maybe that's a compliment to production.
By the time you got to the set, everything's set up and it's working, and as I mentioned, the reality that's seen from the point of view of the camera, it's as if the set is really there. We could just concentrate on blocking out the scenes, rehearsing them, showing them to the crew, figuring out the coverage, and when we saw the wall, it was doing its thing.
100, take 3. 1. And action.